Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Emma's Talk.
Hey everyone, it's Harry. And Emma, you look really happy today. What's going on?
You can tell I just got paid. Money just landed in my account this morning.
Payday. The best day of the month, honestly.
The best day. And also, weirdly, one of the most stressful days, too.
Wait, why stressful? You just got money.
Because the second it arrives, I already know exactly where half of it is going. Rent, bills, groceries, it disappears so fast.
I know that feeling way too well. Okay, this is actually perfect because today's episode is exactly about this.
Yes, today we're talking about money and finance vocabulary, real words you'll actually use, whether you're talking about your salary, your bills, your bank account, or even investing.
And we're not just going to list words at you. We're going to have a real conversation, the kind you'd actually have with a friend, and the vocabulary will just come up naturally.
Exactly. So by the end, you won't just know the words, you'll know how to actually use them in real situations.
Sounds like a plan. So Emma, tell me, how was payday this month? Any different from usual?
Actually, yes, a little different. I got a small raise this month.
No way, congratulations! What's a raise exactly for anyone who wasn't sure?
A raise is when your salary goes up. So if I used to earn a certain amount every month and now I earn a little more, that's a raise.
Nice. And salary, just to be clear, that's the fixed amount you earn, usually monthly or yearly, right?
Exactly. Salary is the regular payment you get from your job. Some people say wages too, but wages are usually connected to hourly work. So if you're paid per hour, we usually say wages, not salary.
Oh, that's a really useful distinction, actually. So a teacher has a salary, but someone working part-time in a shop paid by the hour has wages.
Exactly right. And when the money actually arrives in your bank account or in your hand, we often call that your paycheck.
Right. I got my paycheck today. That sounds natural.
Very natural. And when people talk about their monthly income, they mean all the money they earn in a month from any source, salary or otherwise.
What about this raise then, Emma? Was it a big one?
Not huge, but I'll take it. Oh, and I also got a small bonus last month, too.
A bonus, meaning extra money on top of your normal salary, usually for good performance or maybe around the holidays?
Exactly. A bonus is extra. It's not guaranteed every month. It's like a nice surprise on top of your regular income.
I used to get overtime pay at my old job. Do you know that word?
Of course. Overtime is when you work extra hours beyond your normal schedule, and usually you get paid extra for those extra hours.
Exactly. So if I normally work 8 hours and I work 10, those extra 2 hours are overtime.
Right. Now here's something people often get confused about. Do you know the difference between net salary and gross salary?
Actually, I always mix these two up, honestly.
You're definitely not alone. So gross salary is the total amount before anything is taken out, like tax.
And net salary?
Net salary is what you actually receive after tax and other deductions are removed.
Oh, so if my gross salary is $3,000, but tax takes some of that, my net salary, the amount that actually lands in my account, is lower.
Exactly. You got it. So when people complain, my salary is high, but I don't feel like I have much money, it's usually because they're thinking of gross salary, not net.
That explains so much, honestly. Tax really takes a big bite, doesn't it?
It really does. But okay, tell me something, Harry. Are you happy with your income these days?
Honestly, it's okay, but between rent and bills, it feels like my income disappears almost as fast as it arrives.
Welcome to adulthood. Let's actually talk about that because I think this connects perfectly to what comes next, spending, and where all our money actually goes.
Okay, so let's be honest here. My biggest expense every single month is rent.
Same here, honestly. Rent is usually the biggest chunk of anyone's monthly expenses.
Expenses meaning all the money we spend on different things, right?
Exactly. Expenses is just a general word for anything we spend money on, regularly. Rent, food, transportation, all of that. And then there are bills too. What's the real difference between expenses and bills?
Good question. Bills are usually a specific type of expense, something you pay regularly, like electricity, water, internet, phone.
So bills are one kind of expense, but not all expenses are bills.
Exactly. For example, groceries are an expense, but we don't usually call them a bill.
Right. Groceries being food and household items that we buy regularly from the supermarket.
Exactly. And speaking of regular payments, what about subscriptions, Harry? How many do you actually have?
Oh no, don't ask me that. Honestly, probably too many. Streaming services, a gym membership, even a subscription for my phone storage.
This is such a common problem. A subscription is a regular payment, usually monthly, for a service you keep using.
And honestly, half the time, I forget I'm even paying for some of them.
This is exactly what people mean by unnecessary spending. Spending money on things we don't really need or don't even use.
Guilty, honestly. I really should check my subscriptions and cancel a few.
You and me both. And this connects to something else too. Impulse buying. Do you know this expression?
I think so. Isn't it when you buy something suddenly without really planning it?
Exactly right. Impulse buying is when you see something and you buy it immediately, without really thinking if you actually need it.
Oh, I'm terrible for this, especially online shopping late at night.
The classic trap. You see something at midnight and suddenly it's in your cart.
Exactly. And the next morning you think, why did I buy that?
We've all been there, honestly. So when you're actually deciding whether to buy something, do you ever ask yourself, can I afford it?
Definitely, especially for bigger purchases. Afford meaning having enough money to buy something, right?
Exactly. I can't afford it is such a common useful phrase. It simply means you don't have enough money for that particular thing right now.
What about purchase? Is that just a fancier word for buy?
Pretty much, yes. Purchase can be used as a verb, meaning to buy, or as a noun, meaning the thing you bought. That was a great purchase, for example.
Okay, this actually reminds me, Emma, I need to go shopping this weekend. My fridge is basically empty.
Perfect, actually. Let's talk about that, because shopping brings up so many useful words, too.
Okay, so tell me honestly, are you someone who checks prices carefully or do you just buy what you want?
It depends on the day, honestly. But generally, yes, I check prices, especially for bigger things.
What's the actual difference between price and cost? I feel like people use them kind of interchangeably.
They're really similar, but price is usually the specific amount you pay for something, like the price of this jacket is $50.
And cost?
Cost can be used more broadly. How much does it cost is basically asking the price, but cost can also describe a bigger general expense, like the cost of living.
Oh, the cost of living. That's such a common phrase these days, isn't it? Everyone's talking about it.
Everyone, honestly. It just means how expensive it generally is to live somewhere. Rent, food, transportation, all combined.
Right. So someone might say the cost of living in the city is really high.
Exactly. Perfect example. Now, when something is really expensive, we say it's expensive, obviously, but what's the opposite?
Cheap, right?
Exactly, cheap. Though be a little careful with that word. Sometimes cheap can also mean low quality, not just low price.
Oh, that's true actually. Like, this bag looks cheap could mean badly made, not just inexpensive.
Exactly. So often people prefer a softer word, affordable.
Right. Affordable just means reasonably priced, something most people can actually pay for, without sounding negative about the quality.
Exactly right. So instead of saying cheap rent, you might say affordable rent. It just sounds a bit more positive.
That's such a useful little tip, honestly.
What about when you buy something and you're really happy with it? Do you ever say it was worth it?
All the time. Like, if something's a little expensive but really good quality, I'll say, yeah, it was expensive, but honestly, it was worth it.
Exactly. Worth it means the value matched or was even better than the price you paid.
What about the opposite, when something wasn't worth it?
You could say it wasn't worth the money, or simply, what a waste of money.
I've definitely said that more than once. Okay, speaking of money and where it actually lives, let's talk banking, because honestly, I still find some banking words a little confusing.
Okay, banking. Let's start simple. Do you remember when you opened your first bank account?
Oh, actually, yes. I remember it being surprisingly confusing. So many types of accounts.
It really can feel that way. So the most basic one is a bank account in general, but usually banks offer at least two main types.
A checking account, right? Or current account, depending on which country you're in?
Exactly. In the US, people usually say checking account, but in the UK and many other places, it's often called a current account. Same idea, though.
And this is the account we use for everyday spending, right?
Exactly. Everyday transactions, paying bills, buying groceries, that kind of thing.
And then there's a savings account, which is different, right?
Right. A savings account is specifically for money you want to save rather than spend immediately. Often, it earns a little interest, too.
Okay, and when you put money into your account, what do we call that action?
That's called a deposit. I deposited some money into my account, for example.
And the opposite, taking money out?
That's a withdrawal. I made a withdrawal from the ATM, you'd say.
Right, ATM, the machine where you can take out cash, right?
Exactly. ATM, short for automated teller machine. But honestly, nobody says the full name.
True, everyone just says ATM. What about moving money from one account to another?
That's called a transfer. I transferred money to my friend, for example.
Okay, and how do you know how much money you actually have in your account?
You check your balance. That's the current amount of money in your account at any given moment.
Right, what's your balance? Or I checked my balance this morning.
Exactly. And every time money moves in or out of your account, that's called a transaction.
So a deposit is a transaction, a withdrawal is a transaction? Basically any movement of money.
Exactly right. You've really got it. And if you want to see a full list of all your transactions over a period of time, you look at your bank statement.
Oh, right. That document that shows everything that happened in your account over the month.
Exactly. Honestly, checking your bank statement regularly is such a good habit.
I really should do that more, honestly. I usually just avoid looking.
We've all been there, but avoiding it usually makes things worse, doesn't it?
True, true. Okay, this actually reminds me of something else I wanted to ask you about, saving money. Because honestly, I'm not great at it.
Oh, perfect. Let's talk about that, because I think this is one of the most important topics for anyone managing money.
Okay, be honest with me, Emma. Are you good at saving money?
I've gotten better, honestly, but it took real effort. For a long time, I was living paycheck to paycheck.
Oh, that expression, living paycheck to paycheck, meaning spending basically all your income every month with nothing left over?
Exactly. It means you're relying completely on your next paycheck just to cover your expenses, with little or no savings left over.
Honestly, that's me too most months. It's a stressful way to live, isn't it?
Really stressful. That's actually part of why I started focusing on building an emergency fund.
An emergency fund, meaning money set aside specifically for unexpected situations?
Exactly. Like if your car breaks down or you suddenly lose your job, having money already saved really helps.
People also call this a rainy day fund, right? I've heard that expression too.
Exactly the same idea. Rainy day fund is just another way of saying emergency fund, money for unexpected difficult days.
I like that expression, honestly. It's a nice image.
It really is. So how did you start when you began saving?
I actually set a specific savings goal. I told myself I'll save up $500 by the end of this year.
Oh, save up, meaning gradually collecting money over time toward that goal.
Exactly. And having a specific number and date made it feel much more achievable, honestly, than just, I should save more.
That's such good advice, actually. I do something similar. I try to set money aside every single month automatically.
Set money aside? Meaning specifically putting some money into savings before spending on anything else?
Exactly right. I basically pay myself first before I even think about other expenses.
That's smart, honestly. I really need to be more consistent with this.
It really does get easier over time, I promise. Once it becomes a habit, you barely notice it anymore.
I believe you. Okay, but here's a slightly less fun topic. What about when things go the other way, and instead of saving, you end up in debt?
Yes. Let's talk about that too, because honestly, most people deal with this at some point in their lives.
Okay, so debt. Honestly, I have a small amount of credit card debt right now.
You're definitely not alone, Harry. Debt just means money you owe to someone or some company.
Right, and a loan, that's when you borrow a specific amount of money, usually from a bank.
Exactly. A loan is when someone lends you a certain amount, and you agree to pay it back, usually with extra money added called interest.
Right, interest, meaning the extra cost of borrowing money.
Exactly. So if you borrow $1,000 with 10% interest, you'll eventually pay back more than $1,000.
This connects to borrow and lend, right? Two words people often mix up.
Oh, definitely. Such a common mistake. Borrow means you're receiving money from someone else. Lend means you're giving money to someone else.
So if I say, can you lend me $20, I'm asking you to give me money.
Exactly right. And if I say I borrowed $20 from Harry, it means I received the money from you.
Okay, that really clarifies it, honestly. Now, about credit cards specifically, what's important there?
Well, a credit card lets you spend money you don't currently have, but you have to pay it back usually each month.
And if you don't pay the whole amount?
Then usually you pay at least the minimum payment, the smallest amount required by the credit card company.
But if you only pay the minimum, doesn't the interest just keep growing?
Exactly. This is the tricky and honestly dangerous part. Interest keeps building on whatever amount remains unpaid.
This is exactly my problem, honestly. I've been paying minimum payments for a few months now.
I really understand. This happens to so many people.
The key is trying to pay more than the minimum whenever possible.
I definitely need to work on that. What about bigger loans, like for a house?
That's called a mortgage. A mortgage is specifically a loan used to buy property, like a house or apartment.
And people usually pay this back over many years, right? Like 20 or 30 years?
Exactly. Mortgages are usually very long-term loans with a fixed monthly payment each month.
Right, monthly payment, meaning the specific amount you pay every single month toward that debt.
Exactly right. Okay, this has actually been really helpful, honestly. I think I need to focus on paying down my credit card debt before I think about anything bigger.
That's honestly really wise, Harry. Debt can feel really heavy, but understanding it clearly definitely helps.
It really does. Okay, let's shift to something completely different now, but honestly, equally important, especially for the future. Investing.
Investing, honestly, this topic always feels a little intimidating to me.
I totally understand that feeling, but honestly, the basic vocabulary isn't as complicated as it sounds.
Okay, let's start simple then. What exactly is an investment?
An investment is basically using your money to buy something that you hope will grow in value over time.
And someone who does this is called an investor, right?
Exactly. And one common type of investment is buying stock or shares in a company.
Wait, what's the actual difference between stock and share? I always get confused by this.
Honestly, they're really closely related. Stock usually refers to ownership in a company generally. A share is one single unit of that stock.
Oh, so if I buy shares in a company, I'm actually buying small pieces of stock in that company.
Exactly right. You've got it perfectly.
What about bonds? I've heard this word, but honestly never really understood it.
A bond is a little different. Basically, it's like lending money to a company or government, and they promise to pay you back with interest later.
Oh, so it's kind of similar to the loan we talked about earlier, but in reverse? Like I'm the one lending this time?
Exactly. That's a great way to think about it. With a bond, you're the lender, not the borrower.
Okay, that makes sense now. What about when an investment actually makes money?
That's called a return or sometimes profit. Basically the money you gain from your investment.
And the opposite, when you lose money?
That's simply called a loss. Every investment involves some level of risk, meaning the chance of losing money.
This is honestly the part that scares me the most, the risk.
It's completely normal to feel that way. That's actually why experts often recommend having a portfolio.
A portfolio, meaning a collection of different investments, right? Not just one single thing?
Exactly right. Instead of putting all your money into just one stock, you spread it across different investments to reduce overall risk.
That makes so much sense, honestly. What about dividend? I've seen this word before, but never really understood it.
A dividend is basically a small payment some companies give to their shareholders, usually from their profits.
Oh, so it's like a little reward for owning shares in that company?
Exactly. A nice, regular reward for investors who hold on to their shares.
Okay, honestly, this conversation has really helped me. Investing doesn't feel quite as scary anymore.
I'm really glad to hear that, Harry. Understanding the words really does remove a lot of unnecessary fear.
It really does. Okay, before we wrap up, I feel like we should quickly go through some useful expressions too, the kind of phrases people actually say in real conversations about money.
Great idea. Let's do that now. Okay, so throughout today, we've actually already used quite a few of these expressions naturally, but let's bring them all together now.
Perfect idea. Let's start with something we mentioned near the beginning. I'm trying to save money.
Exactly. Such a common, honest thing to say to a friend. It simply means you're making an effort to spend less and save more.
What about I can't afford it? We touched on this earlier too.
Right. Meaning you simply don't have enough money for something right now.
And a related one, I'm short on money this month.
Exactly. Short on money, meaning you don't quite have enough to cover everything you need.
What about that phrase we discussed earlier, living paycheck to paycheck?
Right. Spending basically your entire income every month with little left over.
Honestly, I feel like saying I spent too much pretty often, especially after shopping trips.
Haha, we all say this sometimes. It simply means you spent more than you had planned or should have.
And when that happens, people often say, I need to cut back.
Exactly. Cut back, meaning reducing your spending in certain areas going forward.
What about when something really was a good decision, even if expensive? It's worth it.
Exactly. We mentioned this too earlier, meaning the value matched or exceeded the price you paid.
I actually got to say I got a raise earlier today too, which felt really nice.
It really is one of the best things to say. And unfortunately, sometimes people also have to say, I'm in debt.
Right, meaning they currently owe money to someone, whether it's a credit card, a loan, or something else.
Exactly. These expressions really are the kind of things real people say in real everyday conversations about money.
This has honestly been such a useful episode. I feel like I could actually have a real conversation now about my salary, my bills, my bank account, even investing without feeling lost.
That's exactly the goal, Harry. Real vocabulary used in real situations. Now, before we finish completely, let's take a quick moment for something important.
Yes, quick reminder, if you're learning something useful today, please give this video a like.
And subscribe too. It really helps our channel grow, and it means you'll get more episodes exactly like this one every week.
Real English, real vocabulary, real conversations, all in one place.
Exactly. Okay, let's continue and imagine a few real-life situations using everything we've talked about today.
Okay, let's actually practice a real situation now. Imagine we're catching up as friends, and I ask you about your salary.
Okay, go for it.
So, Emma, how's work going? Did that raise we mentioned actually happen?
Yes, actually, my gross salary went up a little, though honestly, after tax, my net salary only increased a small amount.
Still, that's great news though. Are you happy with your current income generally?
Mostly yes, though between rent and bills, it still feels a little tight some months.
I completely understand that feeling. Do you ever get any bonuses or overtime pay at your job?
Occasionally a small bonus around the holidays. Overtime though, honestly, not really. My job doesn't offer that.
That makes sense. Well, congratulations again on the raise.
Thank you. See, Harry, notice how naturally all those words, income, salary, raise, gross, net, bonus, overtime, just appeared in a completely normal, friendly conversation?
Exactly. This is really how real people talk, isn't it? Not through memorized lists, but through genuine conversation.
Exactly right. Let's try another situation now. Shopping and discussing prices. Okay, let's do one more situation before we get to shopping. This time, imagine we're roommates and it's the first of the month.
Perfect. I love this idea. Okay, Emma, quick reminder. Rent is due tomorrow.
Oh, right. Thank you for reminding me. Actually, this month, rent feels a little tighter than usual.
Really? Did something happen with your budget?
Not really, just a lot of bills arrived at the same time this month. Between rent and everything else, my expenses really added up.
I completely understand. Do you want to split the electricity bill the same way we usually do?
Yes, that works perfectly. Should I just transfer my half directly to your account?
That would be great. Honestly, makes things so much simpler.
Okay, I'll transfer it right after I get my paycheck.
Perfect. Notice, listeners, how naturally rent, bills, expenses, budget, transfer, paycheck all appeared in this really common everyday roommate conversation.
Exactly. This is honestly such a normal conversation that so many people have every single month.
It really is. Now, let's actually move to shopping like we planned. Emma, actually, before we finish with our practice situations, I want to try one more. A really honest one about debt, but this time more like a private conversation between close friends, not at the bank.
Oh, I like that idea. Honestly, this feels really important too, because talking about debt with a friend feels very different from talking about it at a bank.
Exactly. Let's try it. Okay. Honestly, Emma, can I tell you something? I've been feeling really stressed about money lately.
Of course. What's going on?
I think I'm in debt more than I realized. Between my credit card and a small loan I took out last year, it's starting to feel really heavy.
I really appreciate you being honest with me about this. Are you managing to make your monthly payments at least?
Barely, honestly. I've mostly just been paying the minimum payment on my credit card, which I know isn't great.
I understand completely. This happens to so many people. Have you thought about making a plan to slowly pay it down?
I've been thinking about it, but honestly, I don't really know where to start.
Maybe we could sit down together sometime and look at your expenses and see where you could cut back a little.
I'd really appreciate that, honestly. Thank you for listening without judging me.
Of course, that's honestly what friends are for. Notice, listeners, how differently this conversation felt compared to the bank scene earlier. Debt, credit card, loan, monthly payment, minimum payment, cut back, all still appearing, but this time in a really personal, emotional, honest conversation.
Exactly. And honestly, I think this kind of conversation matters just as much as knowing the vocabulary itself. Being able to talk openly about money with people we trust.
Completely agree. Okay, now let's actually move on to shopping together like we planned earlier.
Okay, imagine we're actually shopping together right now, looking at jackets.
Perfect. Let's do it. Emma, look at this jacket. Isn't it nice?
Oh, it's really nice, actually. What's the price?
Let me check. It's around $80.
That's a little expensive, honestly, for my current budget.
True, but look, it's really good quality. I think it's honestly worth it.
Maybe, but I'm trying to cut back a little this month. I don't think I can afford it right now.
That's completely understandable. Maybe there's a cheaper option somewhere else.
Yeah, let's look for something a little more affordable instead.
Sounds good. See, listeners? Price, expensive, worth it, cut back, afford, cheaper, affordable, all naturally appearing in one simple shopping conversation.
Exactly. This is honestly exactly how you'd actually talk while shopping with a real friend.
Let's try one more situation now. Opening a bank account.
Okay, imagine I'm at the bank opening a new account. And Emma, you're the bank worker this time.
Perfect. I'm ready. Good morning. How can I help you today?
Good morning. I'd like to open a new account, please.
Of course. Would you like a checking account or a savings account?
I think a checking account for everyday spending. But honestly, I'd also like information about savings accounts too.
Great choice. With our savings account, you can set money aside and even earn a little interest over time.
That sounds perfect, actually. Can I also ask about making transfers between accounts?
Absolutely. Transfers are really simple through our banking app. You can also check your balance and view your transactions anytime.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the help.
Of course. Welcome to the bank. Notice, listeners, how naturally checking account, savings account, set money aside, interest, transfers, balance, transactions all appeared in this simple, realistic scene.
Exactly. This really is exactly how these conversations actually happen in real banks all around the world.
Now, let's imagine one more situation, this time about a loan.
Okay, imagine, Harry, you're asking me at the bank about getting a loan.
Perfect. Let's do it. Hi, I'm actually interested in borrowing some money for a car. Could you tell me about your loan options?
Of course. How much are you hoping to borrow?
I think around $5,000.
Okay. And just so you know, this loan would come with an interest rate of around 6%.
I see. And what would my monthly payment actually look like?
Based on that amount, your monthly payment would be around $150 over a few years.
That sounds manageable, honestly. Thank you for explaining this so clearly.
Of course, happy to help. See, Harry, borrow, loan, interest, monthly payment, all naturally used in this realistic banking conversation.
Exactly. And honestly, this conversation really shows listeners exactly how to actually ask about a loan in real life.
It really does. Now, let's put everything together and imagine one final real-life situation, discussing investments with a friend.
Okay, imagine we're just relaxing, having coffee, and I bring up investing, casually.
Perfect. Go ahead.
So Emma, have you ever thought about investing your savings instead of just keeping it in your bank account?
Actually, yes. I recently started building a small portfolio, just a few shares in different companies.
Oh, that's exciting. Have you seen any returns yet?
A small profit so far, though honestly, I know there's always risk involved too.
True. Have you considered bonds too, or just stocks?
Mostly stocks right now, though I'm thinking about adding a few bonds for a little more balance.
That sounds like a smart approach. Do any of your stocks pay dividends?
A couple actually do, which honestly feels like a nice little bonus.
That's great, Emma. I might actually consider starting my own small portfolio too after this conversation.
You definitely should. And notice, listeners, portfolio, shares, returns, profit, risk, bonds, stocks, dividends, all naturally used in one relaxed, honest, believable conversation.
Exactly. This really shows how all this vocabulary connects together in real, natural, everyday conversation.
It really does. Now let's turn to our listeners with a few questions to practice everything we've learned today.
Okay, one more situation before we move on, because honestly, I think this is something so many people want to practice, actually asking for a raise.
Oh, this is such a nerve-wracking conversation in real life, honestly. Let's try it. I'll be your manager this time.
Okay, here goes. Hi, do you have a few minutes to talk?
Of course, come in. What's on your mind?
I wanted to talk about my current salary. I've been here for over a year now, and I've taken on quite a bit more responsibility.
That's true. You really have. What were you hoping to discuss?
I was hoping we could talk about a possible raise based on my current contributions.
That's a completely fair request. What kind of increase were you thinking of?
I was hoping for around a 10% increase to my current salary.
Let me think about it and check with the budget. But honestly, based on your work, this sounds quite reasonable.
Thank you so much for considering it. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. Let's talk again next week. Okay, let's stop there. Emma, that honestly sounded so natural and confident.
Thank you.
And notice, listeners, salary, raise, increase all appeared naturally in a completely realistic workplace conversation.
Exactly. And honestly, this is such a useful conversation to actually practice out loud before a real meeting like this.
Definitely. It really helps build confidence, doesn't it? Having the right words ready.
It really does. Now, let's try one final situation, something a little more relaxed, comparing the cost of living in different places.
Okay, imagine. We're just chatting, casually, maybe thinking about moving to a new city.
Perfect. Let's do it. So, Harry, have you ever thought about moving somewhere else, honestly?
Actually, yes, I've been looking at a few cities lately. The cost of living here feels really high these days.
I completely agree. Rent especially has gotten so expensive recently.
Exactly. I was looking at a smaller city, actually, and honestly, everything seems so much more affordable there.
Really? Like what specifically?
Well, rent, for example, was almost half the price compared to here. Even groceries seem noticeably cheaper.
That's a huge difference, honestly. Do you think your income would stay the same, though, if you moved?
That's actually my biggest concern. Salaries there tend to be a little lower too, so it's honestly hard to know if it would really save me money overall.
That's such an important thing to actually calculate before making a big decision like that.
Definitely. I think I'll spend some time comparing both expenses and income in each place carefully.
That sounds like a really smart approach, honestly. Notice, listeners, cost of living, rent, affordable, expensive, cheaper, income, expenses, all naturally appearing in this relaxed, thoughtful conversation.
Exactly. This really shows how this vocabulary applies to real, important life decisions, not just small, everyday moments.
It really does. Okay, now let's turn to our listeners with a few questions to practice everything we've learned today. Okay, now it's your turn, dear listener. Try answering these questions out loud using today's vocabulary.
Question 1. What's your current monthly income, and how do you usually spend it?
Try using words like income, expenses, bills, rent in your answer.
Question 2. Do you have a savings goal right now? What are you saving up for?
Try using savings goal, save up, set money aside.
Question 3. Have you ever experienced impulse buying? What did you buy?
Try describing it using impulse buying, afford, worth it.
Question 4. Do you currently have any debt? A loan or a credit card perhaps?
Try using debt, loan, interest, monthly payment.
Question 5. Have you ever considered investing? What would you invest in?
Try using investment, stock, portfolio, risk.
These questions really help turn today's vocabulary into real, natural speaking practice.
Exactly. The more you actually speak these words out loud, the more naturally they'll come to you in real conversations.
Now, before we say goodbye, let's quickly review everything we've covered today.
Okay, let's go through everything quickly one more time, starting with basic money words. Money, cash, income, salary, wages, earn, spend, save, afford, cost, price, expensive, cheap, affordable.
Work and income, salary, paycheck, monthly income, bonus, overtime, raise, tax, net salary, gross salary.
Spending, expenses, bills, rent, groceries, subscription, purchase, unnecessary spending, impulse buying.
Banking, bank account, checking account, current account, savings account, deposit, withdrawal, transfer, balance, transaction, ATM, bank statement.
Saving, savings, emergency fund, savings goal, save up, set money aside, rainy day fund.
Debt, debt, loan, borrow, lend, interest, credit card, minimum payment, monthly payment, mortgage.
Investing, investment, investor, stock, share, bond, return, profit, loss, risk, portfolio, dividend.
And finally, useful expressions. I'm trying to save money. I can't afford it. I'm short on money. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I spent too much. I need to cut back. It's worth it. I got a raise. I'm in debt.
Wow, that's honestly such a complete, useful list of real vocabulary that you'll actually use in real life.
It really is. And the best part is you didn't just memorize a list. You heard every single word inside a real, natural conversation.
Exactly. That's honestly the best way to actually learn and remember new vocabulary.
So, Emma, out of everything we talked about today, what's one thing you're actually going to do differently?
Honestly, I think I'm finally going to cancel a few of those subscriptions I don't really use.
Huh, good plan.
For me, I think I'm going to focus on paying down my credit card debt a little faster.
That's such a solid goal, Harry.
Tell us in the comments, what's one money word or expression from today that you didn't know before?
We'd love to know. Maybe it's gross salary. Maybe it's impulse buying. Maybe it's dividend.
Whatever it is, we're really glad you learned something new with us today.
Thank you so much for listening today and for practicing your English with us.
See you very soon with another interesting topic.
One conversation at a time. One word, one step at a time. Your English will grow naturally.
See you in our next real conversation.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.